I'd like you all to think about how you start your day for a second. You check your phone, you scroll a little on TikTok, Instagram, or perhaps whatever social media platform you use. You check to see what everyone else is reacting to, whether it's a clip, a headline, or perhaps even a joke. And before you have even finished your cup of coffee, you've already formed opinions about things you barely paused to consider. But that's normal, right? We all do it. I realized this in a small moment that stayed with me. So I was talking to a younger student and asked them how they thought they did on a final exam. In this situation, you'd expect them to pause, maybe even think for a second. But they didn't. They just simply told me, I'll probably get a 6-7. No hesitation, not because they calculated it, not because they reflected on any of their answers. It was simply something that they had heard enough times that it felt like it was the right thing to say. And that moment, honestly, just bothered me because it was not really an answer. It was a shortcut. And what stayed with me wasn't the phrase itself, but it was how fast it came out. There was no thinking happening in that moment. Just recall. And then I started wondering to myself, how many of our opinions work the same way? How much of the things we say are things we've actually examined? And how much are just things we absorb? See, psychologist Solomon Asch actually demonstrated the power of conformity by showing that people would give an obviously wrong answer about simple line lengths just to agree with a group. You know, that same instinct shows up with trends. When enough people repeat something, questioning just starts to feel unnecessary. And if we're honest, that shortcut isn't just theirs, it's ours. It's also why certain phrases like 6-7 turn into memes. Why weird products like the Rebubu, for instance, start suddenly appearing everywhere. Some people genuinely like it, while some people don't even question it. But almost everyone recognizes it, and that recognition is the point. You see, once something becomes a trend, thinking just stops being required, and recognition becomes enough. Once recognition becomes enough, we laugh, we agree, we buy, we share. Not because we deeply understand with what we are reacting to, but because it feels familiar. And this is not about blaming anyone. I do this too. And you all probably do too. Now, the point that I'm trying to get across isn't that all trends are bad, while some trends genuinely help people. For example, you have the 10,000 steps a day challenge, which circulated on TikTok. It encouraged people to walk more and be more active in their daily lives. It made people have a healthier lifestyle, and for a moment, it reminded people to care for themselves. That's what mattered. So, this isn't about rejecting trends, but it's about closely examining them. Because even good trends raise an important question. Are we doing this because we believe in it? Or because everyone else is doing it? See, following something once is completely normal. But following everything automatically, that's where we lose something important. Choice. I've personally caught myself sharing posts I didn't fully read, agreeing with opinions I hadn't really formed yet, liking things simply because they were popular, not because they meant anything to me. In the moment, nothing felt wrong, but afterward, it felt empty, like I had shown up without actually deciding why. And that is the quiet cost of trends. They don't make us less intelligent, they make us less present. We stop asking simple questions. Do I actually like this? Do I actually agree with this? Would I still care if it wasn't everywhere? Instead, we ask something easier. What is everyone else doing? If I were to ask you right now to name one opinion you hold that you completely formed on your own, without influence, without repetition, without trend, how quickly would you actually be able to answer? It's harder than we think, and slowly, that outside question starts shaping how we think. Independent thinking isn't dramatic. It's not loud, yet it's audible. It's pausing before you share, pausing before you buy, and most importantly, pausing before you agree. Because trends reward speed. The faster you react, well, the less you have to think. And slowly, speed starts to replace intention. Independent thinking does not mean avoiding trends, but it means to be selective by choosing which trends actually deserve your attention and which ones don't get to shape your beliefs. By letting your ideas pass through a filter, your values, your judgment, your experience. So, the next time something starts spreading, a meme, a product, a movement everyone seems to be reacting to, well, don't fight it. Just pause, just for a moment, because that pause is where identity lives. It's where you separate what's popular from what's personal. It's where you decide whether you're actually participating or just repeating others. That pause might feel insignificant, however, it is powerful. And finally, ask yourselves one simple question. Is this actually worth following? Because if we're being completely honest, trends will always exist. But your ability to think for yourselves only stays strong if you actually use it. And in a world that constantly tells us what to follow, being selective might be the most human thing we can do. Thank you.